Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mountainside Podcast. My guest today is Hunter Mclntyre. This amazing athlete is a 6-time world champion obstacle course racer, 4-time national champ. He's also competed in the World CrossFit Games. He's undefeated 3 times in the reality TV show Broken Skull Ranch with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's a Tough Mudder X undefeated champion in 2017 and 2018, and the list goes on and on. I had a great conversation with this guy. Not only is he a super athlete, super fun to hang out with, I mean, really, this guy could have a career in just comedy. Chiming in occasionally, so...
Dude, I love this. You guys
he catches me when I fumble. So
this is the most well put together podcast I've ever been a part of, and I've been part of these podcasts that have like millions of hits and stuff. And most people just do it on the shoestring budget of just like a microphone and 2 bros hanging out. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you get in this, man, it honestly like this self-provided entertainment system you guys have like that. I think this is the next generation of what people are doing in media, and I freaking love it. That's why I love doing podcasts.
Yeah, man, we appreciate having you too, man. We're just getting started, with the whole thing. You're episode 8, but yeah.
Top 10, baby, top 10.
It's going to be awesome, man. You good, Jeremy?
Yeah, shoot, go.
Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Hunter the Sheriff, a.k.a., what was it, the Bulk Pony?
People do call me the Bulk Pony. I mean, I got a couple really cool names.
Yeah.
I actually was looking back through messages on my phone, and I found this text from somebody back in 2012, 2011, and I signed off. I said, yours truly, Hunter Boogie Fever Mclntyre. I've come up with different names for myself for different time periods of my life, and I've just always been that kind of person. I always kind of felt like fun to kind of add a little tag on. I'm a huge fan of WWE, WWF. And, I've always kind of been a character, but I'll rock the Sheriff and Bulk Pony mostly these days.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love your logo, too, for the Bulk Pony, man. Like, it's a guy on a unicorn. Is that
Crushing
you?
It.
Yeah.
That would be the man right here, dude. Yeah. Honestly, I don't have a unicorn, but at the same time, I do look like that for the most part. If I take my shirt off, I don't want you to be scared, but it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So you got some pretty big shit coming up, man. You're about ready to go try to break, is it a world record at the Murph Challenge?
Yeah, Murph is a workout that was kind of created. I don't actually know when the guy came up with it. The guy's name is Lieutenant Michael Murphy, and he passed away in combat back in 2005, and he used this really awesome workout to prepare for his kind of like behind-the-scenes warfare stuff because he's Special Forces doing really hardcore shit.
He was part of the Lone Survivor.
Yeah.
Right?
He was the guy who basically kind of saved, like he saved the day that day. I mean, it was a tragic day to begin with, but he was like he stood above and beyond the rest, and that's why I think he became so famous. So he came up with this workout called, it used to be called Body Armor. Now they named it after him, Murph, and it's a mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, mile run, and it's all on a 20-pound weight vest, which is like, in the military they have to wear this. That's body armor to kind of prevent any kind of extra damage when a bullet hits, hopefully. And it's been picked up by the CrossFit community as one of the major workouts that they do in the games every couple of years. It's a big part of the military community, and it's kind of celebrated as the thing to do on Memorial Day weekend in the fitness community. So millions of people every year do it, and especially with the circumstances we're in right now, as a professional athlete, there's nothing I can do. It doesn't matter if like you're a top-notch football player, basketball player, baseball player, like they're not playing, you don't get to play. And I'm a professional runner, I don't get to play. And I think all of us are sitting here and we're just pumping iron, we're looking at our phones, we're thinking, what the hell do we get to do? When's it going to open up next? And I looked at this and I said, what's in the next couple months that I could at least have control of and be able to say, no matter what, no one can take this away from me. Like, no one's going to be able to come over to my house and say, no, you can't do this workout. Like, I might not be able to go to an arena and do it in front of thousands of people, which I usually do. But this time I decided, I was like, I'm just going to put it together, contact everybody, set this up for a charity, have a blast, bring my sponsors in, bring anybody who wants to get connected like you and I today, and make sure that we have an awesome experience. And you know what? We may have lost our freedom somewhat in this sense of the whole COVID thing. Not saying that the government intentionally set this up, but I want to make sure that I, as an individual, stay motivated, stay positive, and stay driving towards my goals, and Murph being the next one.
Sure, and what a great charity, too, by the way, right?
Yeah,
it benefits, who's it actually benefiting?
Team RWB is basically a foundation that's come together to make sure that veterans, when they're retired from war, when they come back from war, that they have a community that they can come together and basically have a group to work with. Because you have to understand the stresses that they experience over there, which I've never been part of the military, but I know at least through some people that I am close friends with who've been through it, it's a stressful experience. And you know what? You went to war. It's hard to come back here and do landscaping or go into business or whatever the heck you decide to do. It's not the same two worlds. And they brought a community together where everyone can have that experience of being together with other people who've been through that in a positive light, whether it be you get to go do a Spartan race like I do and they pay for it, or they have like a big barbecue. Typically, it's revolved around athletic events and stuff, but I just figured what better way? Like, I'm an athlete. I love to do that. I would love to give back in some kind of way. Typically, when I race or do an event like this, the cash prize goes straight to me, but I just said I'm going to call as many people as I can, raise as much money as I can, and give it to the people who need it.
Really? That's awesome, man.
I figured
what a great
it'd be cool.
thing to do. Yeah. Actually, our last episode, we had an former Green Beret Special Forces Army dude in here that's a friend of mine. And, I didn't even know some of the stuff that he had gone through until we did the podcast together. But, man, shout out to all the men and women that are out there protecting our freedom and allowing you and me to walk around freely as much as we can, not have bad dudes here trying to get us,
One of my closest competitors is this guy, Robert Killian. He's won Spartan Race World Championships twice. He's been on and off active duty the entire time he's been racing against me. And sometimes he just disappears on, like, a mission, and then all of a sudden he comes back, and he's an awesome dude. Like, he went in there, and he got in the shit, and now he's come back and competing, and he toes the line in both directions. He wins in races, and he's obviously winning in battle because he comes back. But it's incredible to me that somebody like that can so easily switch between the two of them. And the struggle is, like, being able to kind of cross those two lines and not make it such a major experience, because it's definitely going to be a challenge. Like, I wanted to be in the military when I was younger, and they wouldn't let me in because I got in a lot of trouble when I was younger, got arrested all these times for, like, if I saw a shiny light like that and I had a rock, I'd throw it at it.
Right.
Like, that thing needs to get tore up. And I got arrested a bunch of times doing it, but I figured,
you and me both.
Yeah,
man.
dude,
You and me both.
Back when I was a kid, though, like, if you gave me a gun and you're like, it's time to go to war, I basically would have shot anything. Like, like, you didn't have the maturity to understand what it meant to actually create that kind of damage in the world. So that's gnarly. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, wow, like, it blows my mind.
Yeah, it puts it in perspective a little bit, huh? Because at the 21 or 22, you're just in fight mode or party mode or whatever, right?
Yeah. Dude, I used to get into bar fights all the time. I'm writing a book right now just to kind of basically, I went through this whole experience of being a successful athlete when I was younger, all the way through rehab, being arrested a bunch, losing everything, and then going through drugs a lot, and then coming out on the other side and focusing more on the professional aspects of life and pursuit of, like, excellence. And it's crazy to see the transition, and I'm kind of typing it every single day, but I used to get in fistfights every single weekend because I thought it was hysterical. Like, if I saw you're a big guy, you bump into me, I'm like, fuck you, dude, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Right.
And then at the end, there's no drama, but I don't think to myself, I'm like, dude, I could have killed that guy. Nowadays,
it happened to me a lot.
Yeah. But nowadays, I think back on that, and I'm like, dude, I could have fucked that guy up so bad, or he could have fucked me up so bad that in a way that it could have ruined our lives. And now I think about that stuff, and at 21, you couldn't have said anything in the world to stop me. But nowadays, like, I'm a totally different person. It's weird to experience that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, man. I've changed. I don't think I've thrown a punch at anybody in, I don't even know, like, probably 15, 20 years almost, right?
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I go and do jiu-jitsu and stuff to get it out now, but that's about the extent of it. And that's not really real fighting, It's kind of laying on your back, trying not to get choked.
Did you see the most recent UFC fight this Saturday?
Yeah, man. I started a bunch of shit this morning, actually. Well, actually, I thought you were talking about the one there was one last night.
There was another
UFC
one?
Fight Night, yeah.
A real one?
Yeah.
What?
It was a light heavyweight bout.
Was it like an actual contender bout?
It wasn't a contender bout. So the UFC does fight nights, I think it's going to be weekly now because of their contract with ESPN.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so you're going to be seeing a lot of fights. But I think they used to do it once or twice a month. And it's basically...
That's too much, man.
As long as you have the ESPN Plus or whatever, you can watch it for free. It's not a pay-per-view deal.
Well, this Saturday was the first public, like, big.
Yeah.
It wasn't public, but it was the first sporting event we've seen in a while. And, like, I sat down with a couple friends, and it was, like, such a positive experience.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, listen, it could have been anything on TV. We would all come together, chug some beers, and clap. Like, it was just awesome to see the United States, like, whatever the heck's going on in the world, like, we're pushing it aside, and we're going to go back to what we're used to. It was awesome.
I couldn't agree more. I think Dana White's a genius for pushing that. And, he was trying to do it even way before last weekend's fight.
Yeah.
And, man, what a brawl, too, huh?
Didn't he buy an island?
Yeah. So there's been some rumors that it was Epstein's Island or something like that. What's that dude that there's the whole conspiracy theory that the Clintons killed him? Is it Charlie Epstein?
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Who killed him? Well, dude, have you heard?
He was in prison and he got strangled, basically.
Oh, yeah,
or he hung
I
himself.
know what you're talking about.
Who knows? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's, what do they call that? Supported suicide is basically like kind of the terminology behind it. Actually,
whatever you want to dub it, right?
I never ended up watching it, but supposedly there is a documentary out there, some kind of piece out there about the Clintons being some very, very sketchy people. And it scared the shit out of me, I'm not going to lie. Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be on their bad side, man.
No.
Not at all.
But I do think what Dana White, if he actually bought the island and goes ahead with that, like, that's
How
the
cool,
way to do
right?
it, dude. You got no
it's like
jurisdiction
a
to stop
movie
you.
or something.
Well, dude, when you got all the money in the world, like, you do something with it.
Yeah.
Do something with it, because what's the point of having billions of dollars? I think about that all the time. If you have billions of dollars and you just let it accrue, it seems like the silliest thing in the entire world, because it is energy. And money is energy. And
Yeah,
you think
it produces time.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit, to an extent, right?
Like, I just, like, I'm confused. Like, all these billionaires and stuff, like, what the heck's his name? The guy who tried to basically spent $2 billion trying to run for presidency, Bloomberg.
Yeah.
At least he just went out and spent cash. I was just talking to the girl that I was dating on the ride up here. I was like, I work my ass off as an athlete all the time, and I'm like, I may make a significant amount of money, but I'm never going to make as much money as these people who are, like, selling oil or selling technologies and things like that. I was like, I feel like I should maybe if I could put the focus I put towards athletics, towards those things, I could become a multimillionaire, and I might be unhappy for my 9 to 5, but every hour outside of that, I'd be a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
I'd have a blast. Like the Bronco I was telling you about, dude, I'd buy like 10 of those.
Yeah.
Drive them, give them
That's
my
awesome.
friends.
What year is that Bronco, by the way? We were talking about are you going to purchase it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in buying toys. I don't believe in saving money. Like, I have a savings, obviously. Like, I'm prepared for what's going on right now, but
Sure.
you got to spend money to make money, and I also think that, like, it's just like kind of you decided to make this room right here, and, like, you're in a shitty time right now because of what's going on. You're like, I'm going to spend money, and I'm going to make something of it so that I can spend my time doing something positively. I just bought a unicycle for some reason, and I just was like, I'm not going to let this coronavirus get me back. I'm going to go learn how to ride a unicycle, play guitar. I'm going to buy a Bronco. I'm going to build it up so it looks badass. And this is all money going out of my pocket, but at the same time, it's elevating me in some way. It's going to bring something towards me in other ways.
Right. It's going to help you focus on relaxing a little bit, which will probably in turn make you a little bit better at what you're trying to do on a regular basis, right? I mean, that's how I look at it.
Drinking whiskey and
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Cheers. What are you drinking, by the way?
I'm drinking Breckenridge vodka. Pretty good shit.
Okay, here's a question.
I'm a bit of a vodka man. I got to watch it on the whiskey there, especially the American whiskeys.
I can't touch vodka.
Yeah?
There's 3 drinks.
Do you have a bad experience as
Totally.
young partier?
Yeah, well, it's the kind of thing where we had these plastic handles called Dubra. It was kind of like this. Like, you could flick it, and it was just cheap plastic, and inside of that was just, it was like $11
That's
for
rubbing
a handle.
alcohol. That's not
It
vodka,
is.
man.
And I remember we'd pull the plug that would, like, keep, like, so it didn't just dump out, like that kind of, like, filter on top of the bottle that would slow it down a little bit. We'd pull it, and we'd tilt it back, and we'd chug as hard as we could. And I did that enough times to the point where I'd black out, and vodka, like, I just, like, even smelling it makes me sick. And I did the same thing with tequila, so I can't touch vodka or tequila anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could make your own liquor company, what would be your liquor company? What would you kind of be promoting?
Oh, man. I'm big on the Irish whiskeys
Yeah?
just because of the way that they affect me a little bit more in the mindset.
Yeah.
But I don't drink that much anymore, man. To
Well,
be
you don't have
honest
to
with you,
drink it,
like
dude.
occasionally. But I'm a mirror, right?
Yeah.
So I'm easily influenced. So you're having a drink, I'm having a drink, right?
Yeah, but drug dealers, you don't smoke your own dope, dude. You
Yeah,
can make
that's
it,
right.
you sell it to the people.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd make like a hunter's hooch. Like
Yeah?
I would make like some kind of like really fun hardcore booze that you'd mix in like sweet tea and get you fucked up.
Hell yeah.
Definitely target the college kids.
Like a Southern Comfort type deal or
yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Well, that Fireball, that's what Fireball is basically, right?
Oh,
I mean,
I
that
can't
shit,
touch that
I can't
stuff.
stand it.
No, I like
Just give me some real booze.
Like White Claw. Who would have thought 2-3 years ago when that stuff came out that it would be as big as it is? Like seltzer water's been around forever. Booze has been around forever. Let's combine the two of them. It's taken over the world. Like I go to these I go on these frat Instagrams and stuff, and they have tattoos of White Claw all over their body. People, there is no law when you drink the Claw. Yeah.
Jesus.
It shifted the society of the drinking society, and that's I think about that stuff all the time. I was like, I gotta
It's
get
crazy to get a White Claw tattoo.
Yeah, man. You remember in Toy Story where they all are like the little things like the claw?
Right.
They had that little thing with all the aliens reaching up towards a beer can on the kid's arm. I was like, that is brilliant.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I've tried White Claw, but I prefer to just put my own vodka in my own soda water.
Trust me.
Yeah.
It's cool, but honestly, I could drink. Like the other day, I did this thing for charity. All these CrossFit Games athletes came together and wanted to do a power hour of drinking White Claw to raise money for gyms are just getting crushed right now.
Yeah.
You can't open them up. People can't work out, blah, blah, blah. And I drank 10 White Claws in an hour, and I wasn't drunk at all. Like I don't know if it's actually just seltzer water and they're lying to us, but you have this kind of like inebriation where you're excited about the experience, but you're not actually drunk.
Really?
I'm not promoting this, but you probably could drive.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever drinking 12 White Claws, maybe 2 max.
Come over to my house, man.
Yeah?
I'll be your Sherpa.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll put them in a beer bong.
What's it like growing up in Evergreen, Colorado? Is this used to be like a thoroughbred mountain town, and now it's starting to become a country club mountain town?
I mean, it was definitely a ranch town, but it was growing at that time too. It was in the 90s.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, and there was a ton of people moving in from California, and I've touched on this before in the podcast. So it opened my eyes to a lot of to music, I guess, in a sense, because a lot of those California kids were bringing in punk rock and some of that sort of stuff, and I just fell in love with music.
Yeah.
And at 18 or 19, this was the worst place in the world. I had to get the hell out of here and go see the world.
Yeah.
So I went and toured with a bunch of bands and went all over and started my career in the music business. And I couldn't be more fortunate that I got to do that.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started having kids, it came all full circle. I was like, where do I want my kids to grow up?
Now you gotta come back.
I was living in Hermosa Beach. I lived
Hermosa's
there for
a blast.
20 years, partying my ass off and all that.
It's like the number one hookup town in the country.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of single people there.
I used to Google when I was in high school, I'd be like, number one spots to get laid. And like when I was in high school, because I was trying to figure out which college I want to go to. And Hermosa Beach and Redondo Beach are like the top 2 towns in the country.
That was great, man. I love living there. I had a lot of friends that lived there. There's a bunch of people in the music industry that live there. I met my wife there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I started having kids, I was like, do I really want them to grow up here?
Nah.
And we've always, the mountains always has held a spot in my heart. You know what I mean? No matter how bad I thought it was at 18 or whatever, I love being out in the wilderness, hunting, fishing, hiking, all that, camping.
Totally.
Big on it. So
I grew up in New York City and was raised in Connecticut and New York. And I was raised there until I was 18, and then I had to go out to rehab in Montana. So I was kind of forced out west. And once I got there, I looked at my parents. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? You lied to me this whole time. This is what the rest of the world looks like. So we grew up, nothing wrong with New York and Connecticut, but once you come out here, these mountains that are just shoot up into the sky, and the ocean where I live most of the year in Malibu, it's mountains meeting the ocean, perfect sunset, sunrises, 10-foot waves on some days. It's just incredible.
It is an incredible place.
Yeah, so I've completely shifted my life towards where I used to be that Manhattan, Connecticut kid and country club kids, but now I'm I would rather be a country bumpkin redneck in the mountains driving a Bronco and cut off camo shorts.
There you go. Yeah. And where are you residing now? You're in Boulder? Or?
I split my time between Boulder and Malibu.
Okay.
And we come out here for training camps. We don't live in any kind of mansion style house. We just live in kind of a basic accommodations of mattresses. We used to have air mattresses and stumps for furniture, but we've we've leveled up a little bit. Now we just make sure we have a house, a refrigerator, an oven, and a gym. And then we rage. It's 4 or 5 hours of training every single day. We're cooking big meals so everybody can chomp down. That's an awesome video.
Nice.
And
who is that, Jeremy?
That's Malibu right there.
Oh, yeah. That dude was a stud.
This is Hunter, right?
Dude, that's me right there. Honestly, I think I'm a little bit more muscular than that guy. He looks a little soft.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
You're better spoken for sure.
Yeah, dude. Malibu's a bit of a chump. I'll bring it back, though. I'm going to get that swag going. So, yeah, I split my time between the two of those, but because of the Situation Room right now, I haven't gone back to Malibu, and this has just been a blast. I don't think this area has really been affected as much as the other major cities have. And
yeah, I feel super lucky or fortunate so far, you know?
Dude, I'm hitting the trails, hanging out with people. I'm not, like, licking them and hugging them and stuff like that, but we all kind of, if we want to go out and go running together, we go run together, and we're civilized about it, but at the same time, we're having a blast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Glad you're here in Colorado. You know, so tell me a little bit more about your childhood. You grew up in New York?
Yep.
In New York City, or?
Yeah, I was born on the Upper East Side, so that's the upper right corner of the city. It's kind of dips down. It's surrounded by water all the way through.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think my family just realized, like, you know, we're not going to raise a kid in the city, and I'm one of two. Moved to Connecticut, then my parents separated, 2 brothers came in, stayed in Connecticut and Westchester, had, like, you know, 2 families now. It was still an awesome experience. It wasn't that bad being divorced kids. Some people cry. I kind of thumbs up about it.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome. I mean, like, I had the greatest upbringing ever. 4 older brothers who were, they beat the shit out of me, but they weren't, like, bad people. I learned a lot of lessons. I kind of was accelerated into my lifestyle a little bit quicker than I'm assuming most kids were because my oldest brother was 10 years older than me. So I was being kind of exposed to
showing
drinking.
You the ropes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Drinking, girls, language, mindset of someone who was 10 years older than me. And I looked up to them so much. I was, like, fascinated, enamored by the idea of it. So, you know, I lived my life. I never was much of a kid who was fascinated by school or anything like that. I was a liver, not a learner. And I think a lot of people... I was just writing about it today. Like, you know, I grew up in the pharmaceutical era where if you had too much energy, they're like, hey, your son has something we believe is called ADD, ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to put him on stimulants, and hopefully that's going to calm him down. So their idea that they're going to give you something
have
that's
some more Adderall,
yeah,
kids.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to give you an upper, and as you're up, they're going to try to match that up and somehow create like a force of energy that causes you to crash. I don't know why the hell they thought that was going to work. So I lived in that era for a while, and I was on medication from the age like 8 until I was 21. And, you know, I'm not trying to say woe is me. Like, I lived the fucking greatest life ever. But now as an adult, I look back on it, and I'm a little bit angry at society, I guess. But, you know, when...
Yeah, I think it's bullshit. I mean, I don't know that they're still doing that. But I went to school with a lot of kids that had... And a lot of them were my friends because I've always been attracted to just wild, crazy... motherfuckers, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
We're fun people.
We're having a good time, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about for me. But yeah, I had a couple friends that had some real issues later on in life just because of all the Adderall and everything that they've been on, and then, you know, going down some drug addiction roads because of that.
Yeah. I don't know what the heck it was. I think basically the design that they had created for me made me more rebellious because it's pretty crazy to think that somebody, like, I find myself to be intelligent. I know what the hell is going on in the world. I may not want to sit in a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day and learn what you're telling me to do, but if you give me something that stimulates me, I'll get it done and I'll be successful at it. That's what I've done my entire life ever since I got out of that system. And now, like, I think back on it and I'm like, yeah, of course I was super fucking pissed at you guys for putting me in resource room. At this level of capacity, would be sat in a room with maybe one other kid who had ADHD, and then this kid had Down syndrome, this kid had autism, this kid had this, and like these kids are drooling and shitting their pants, and I feel terrible that that's the experience they were going through, but they had me grouped in this level of capacity, and I would sit in a room by myself with these people for like 4 hours a day while everybody else is learning regular class. They're like, Hunter, you can't be with those kids because there's something wrong with you. So then that's why I started fucking throwing rocks at windows. And as soon as I got out of school, I was like, yeah, I'm going to climb to the top of a tree and I'm going to drop a computer out of it onto a car. Because that's, like, I'm pissed.
That's awesome. It sounds like a rock star story to me, man. Yeah.
So, like,
good shit.
It was good shit. And, like, certainly I was arrested 4 times in my life. And I guess I do have a record in some way. I don't really know. I think I have 2 felonies on my account for a senior prank that went wrong. I stole something. I was going to hang it up on the school, and it was considered a home invasion. But, like, it was a fucking prank.
Right.
It cost like $20. And it's crazy to think that that's what society put me in. I was literally pegged from a young age to be something that was going to be like a demon or a distraction in society. And, ever since then, man, I just basically looked at myself and I was like, I'm never going to allow people to put me in a box. Like, as soon as I grew out of the point where people could tell me what to do, and then I grew out of the point of me trying to defy people who had told me what to do, then I reached this point. I was like, all right, Hunter, now that you've kind of wrestled and tussled with everybody who's tried to kind of get in your way and tell you how to live, what do you really want to do with yourself? And then I found the passion of fitness, and I mean, that started around the age of 19, and since then I've just had this beautiful experience of just pursuing happiness and meeting with people like you, like-minded individuals who want to connect and talk about it and all these kind of things, and nothing's ever held me back. But the original society and system that they put me in, they told me I was wrong and I was bad, which is weird.
Sure. And what was that wake-up point for you? Was it just like, I got to do something different, or you just figured out how to turn your energy into something positive, or what?
It was just like this point where I was tired of people telling me that I was a fuck-up. Like, first they told me I was a fuck-up, then I really started to fuck up, and then I said to myself, I was like, yeah, I went through the system and I definitely did become what they told me I was, just because I wanted to be like, yeah, well, you think I'm hardcore? I'll show you freaking hardcore. And then all of a sudden I found out I was basically in the wrestling team at a school that I went to after that rehab program, and they basically were like, I was on academic probation. They wouldn't let me wrestle with the rest of the team, and then eventually I got to do a off-campus scrimmage at a non-NCAA location, and they allowed me to wrestle with the kids because the rules were all kind of pushed aside. And I started to beat one of the best kids in the nation, and I was like, fuck these guys. I was like, that's it. I was like, I am not a deadbeat. They've been pointing fingers at me and telling me I was a loser. So I literally just started training. I started digging in. I started lifting for hours. I started running for hours. I started reading all the books because I realized, I was like, you do have physical capacity. Now you just have to apply yourself. So from that point on, I started going.
Man, and that's great that you've come out of that. I mean, being on that I wouldn't call it downhill run or whatever, but just being put in that position. And I mean, let's talk about some of your titles, like some of the titles that you own now, man.
What do you want to talk about, baby? I wish I brought my belt and all my gold medals and stuff.
Yeah, man. You should have brought it
clank.
in. Yeah. Mr. T it in here.
Dude, I will.
Yeah.
Next time I see you, you'll
next
see some
time,
bling
come
on
in.
me.
Yeah, I want to see some shit, man.
Oh.
So you're, is it Hyro X? Is that
Hyrox?
Hyrox.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I knew I was going to fuck that up.
It's all right, dude.
But you're
it's a
a
German
world
company. They're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a world record holder in that?
Yeah, man.
Correct?
Burn the wheels off that one.
Yeah.
That's basically a new established company, basically 3 years old now, that's based out of Germany. They saw what CrossFit did, and the CrossFit industry is incredible. Like, it's very, very successful, but it's very almost unattainable for almost anybody unless you're the 0.001%.
Sure.
They wanted to create a system where you, myself, anybody you know could go and do it and experience it, but only the most elite are going to win. So it's this 8 stations, 8 laps, coming into the fitness stations, competing basically as much work. You're trying to race through this work as fast as possible. A lot of fun. It's international. Next year it's going to be South America, Asia, Australia. Like, it's freaking growing really quickly. And it seemed to be a good fit for me, so I started chasing it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
You're also a 6-time world champion obstacle course racer, right?
Yep.
4-time national champion at the same sport?
Yep. No bigs.
Is that Spartan racing or what?
Spartan racing, obstacle course racing world championships, obstacle course racing national championships. That's the same sanctioning body. Tough Mudder Tough Mudder is a company. We had Warrior Dash. We had Battle Frog. Like, there was all these companies that came through, just like how you'd find like the Boston Marathon, Ironman. Like, they're endurance events.
Sure.
Yep.
And they each kind of have their own little niche, right? Like the Spartan, there's some weapon stuff involved where you're like
weapons.
Chucking spears.
I mean, you chuck a spear. Like,
yeah.
their idea
primitive
was,
weapons.
Yeah, that's right. So their Spartan Race's idea was like, how do we apply endurance, intelligence, and grit into a workout and into an event? So in endurance, obviously, you got to run. Intelligence, you have to navigate, demonstrate, and accomplish obstacles, whether that be like a crazy monkey bar rig. You have to sometimes. I remember when in the beginning when we started, dude, we had to do memory tests. That was fucking one of the hardest things possible.
That's one of my questions for you. Actually, is like how much. I know that there's a ton of physical training that goes into it, and you have to be a super athlete to even compete at that level.
Yeah.
But how much of it do you do, or how much training do you do for your brain? Like hand-eye coordination, speech memorization, motor skills type stuff?
Some people certainly work a lot harder on it than others. Like my roommate Johnny, who's very talented. He won two of the championship titles last year.
Shout out to Johnny.
Big Johnny Little Limbers, baby. He's really good. He's like very weird about it. Like I make fun of him all the time. He's in the gym, like balancing on one foot, throwing a tennis ball against the wall, and like as it comes back to you, there's letters all over it, and you have to read out the letter before it hits your hand.
Right. Yeah.
He's a fucking weirdo, but he's talented, and I don't even know if his talent without it would make him successful. But that's his path. My path is extremely hard work, extremely high level of confidence, and just really diligent planning. Like I like to train really hard. I like to tell people how good I am because I know I'm good. That fucks with their head a lot.
I don't know, dude. I saw you riding a unicycle doing some curls or something.
Damn right, dude. Damn right. Well, that's just me.
That's got to be some coordination.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing I always think is like every single day I try to do something that's either going to scare the shit out of me or teach me something new. Like, I might get a call from a friend in the next week, and I might go rock climb like an 800-foot tall face, and I don't know how to rock climb that well.
Here you go.
Oh, you're talking about?
Oh, yeah.
You just taught yourself how to ride a unicycle when?
I just bought it 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
I mean, dude, now I can crank around the block and I can do pretty well. But the reason why I posted this is because in my attempt to set the Murph World Record, I contacted Guinness Book of World Records. I gave them $1,000, which is their premium level of certification. Like, if you pay this $1,000, we will give you, we will contact you back immediately and put you through the system is in the most, the respectful and most whatever. They're going to connect with me at the highest level possible rather than me being put through this chain of their bullshit. Like they said, the lowest level is they may respond to you in 16 weeks. This high level, they will respond to you in 5 days. So I spent the money, and then they just wrote me back. They said, oh, your thing's too specialized. So I did my research.
Really?
Yeah.
For the Murph Challenge?
Such bullshit, dude.
There's so many people that compete in that, right? I mean, it's thousands of people.
Millions.
Millions.
It's
Okay, there you go.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I looked up their records, and their records are like longest riding a unicycle while juggling eggs in your mouth.
Oh, it's such bullshit. I was reading the book with my kid the other day. We got him in quarantine, because he's super interested in that.
Yeah.
And it'll be bullshit like the world's smallest bull.
Yeah.
That chases chickens or whatever the fuck.
And listen,
it is,
I think there should definitely be something in there where it's fun. There's a fun factor, but don't illegitimize what I'm trying to do because it may not have the wow of me riding a unicycle with like hot pepper sauce in my eyes for as long as possible. So I decided I keep on trolling them on Instagram. Like I'll post them and post all these videos talking shit, and that was one of them. I was like, if you guys aren't going to accept my record that everybody knows, I'm just going to ride a unicycle as far as I can doing 50-pound dumbbell curls.
You'll probably get in for that.
Exactly. So, that was my version of it. And so, but, back to the question you had, I think as an athlete, the highest level athletes are either the biggest idiots or the smartest people. And it's very weird that you get put in the room because I know a lot of extremely stupid athletes that are freaks. They don't have anything in their brain that's telling them to stop or how hard to go or what's safe and not safe. They're bulldozers.
Yeah.
And then there's these highly analytical people like my buddy Johnny who's on his foot bouncing a ball back and forth. And, there's this extreme world and there's not much in between, to be honest. It's either the opposite ends. So I don't know. I definitely read a lot. I learn as much as possible, and then I apply it to what I'm trying to do. So that's my intelligence training. And I go to a therapist a lot to get my head sharp. Because sometimes my level of competition overbears my outside relationships and my experiences of the world. Like, to me, when I'm training super, super hard and then one of my training partners doesn't want to finish a set, I'm like, what the fuck's your problem, man? I was like, we're training to be world champions. You pick up that fucking bar now.
Yeah.
And I don't realize how that could hurt someone's feelings, and I've certainly hurt a lot of people's feelings. And if, I'm dating a girl and she doesn't understand why I got to wake up at 5 a.m. or, I tell the girl
you
that I'm
can't take one day off.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, the girl that I'm hanging out with right now is like, I'm not having sex with you for the next 2 weeks because I'm getting my head together straight because I want to be ready for this championship, this title I'm trying to take down. And to them, they're like, well, what's your dick gonna get in the way of it for? Like, I'm trying to have fun. And I was like, listen, this has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me. And I'm not trying to be selfish. It's just because it's like, that's my job. And like my parents, like I'll never forget when I first started getting into modeling. My mom and my grandmother, they'd try to feed me food, and they'd put
Wait
food.
a minute, what kind of modeling?
Oh, dude, I was a fashion model for years.
Were you?
Yeah, man. I
No
traveled
shit.
around the world. Looking all
I mean, it
pretty and
makes
shit.
sense.
Look at this.
I'm a gorgeous man. Look at that, dude. That's my first photo shoot.
damn.
Ever did. Yeah, what can I say? What can I
Yeah.
say? Yeah. So I used to tell my parents, I'm like, I'm not going to eat that. They're like, what are you talking about? We just made that for you. I'm like, it's not good for me. They're like, what do you mean it's not good for you? This is good food. I was like, get out of my face. I'm not going to eat it. And
Yeah.
I'd be like, whoa, Hunter, calm down. So, like, the therapist helps that stuff, and he helps me get my head online. So, you know, there's a couple things I bring in together.
So do you still model? I mean, other than your own Instagram and
No, I mean,
social media stuff.
occasionally I'll get hit up by companies that ask me to do stuff. Like a couple years ago, I got hit up by L'Oreal to go do this big ad, and they flew me out to Barcelona, and I worked with Lewis Hamilton, the #1 race car driver in the world. Like, it's weird. Like, they'll contact me for stuff. Like, this mullet's not necessarily going to put me in, like, the top most handsome men category. I do this more of like a personality fun kind of thing.
Sure.
But when I'm clean cut, like, yeah, you could put me in a suit, and I could definitely take a good picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, you know what? I quit the modeling thing just because I spent so much time trying to be like lean and perfect and fit into the suit well. And I spent all this time, and then I'd take a picture and I'd look at it and I'm like, that's not me. Like, I'm meant to go kick people's asses and charge up mountains and be loud and wild, and you're trying to put me in this box of being something that I'm not.
Yeah, there's a lot of post-editing that goes on in a lot of that shit too, isn't there?
A fair amount,
Yeah.
not like the biggest, you know. It's interesting. Like, it, you know, there's some photographers like this guy Bruce Weber, who's a really famous photographer. He's just really well known for using old style film, and he's really just uses the light just perfectly to make the perfect picture. But then there's other people who take pictures, and you can tell it's just like so airbrushed out, like it's. But there's beauty in each form.
Sure.
Yeah.
So then,
So after your modeling career, that's when you got into
Sports,
I guess?
Yeah. I ended up leaving modeling. I came back from Barcelona. That was probably the last time I took modeling seriously, and I ended up coming back, and I was like, gosh, I don't know what the fuck to do with my life. And I was living on my brother's couch on and off in New York City, where fashion's a big deal, and I just, like, it didn't feel right. And I just said, I'm going to move out to California with a couple of my friends. One of my buddies called me, and he said, Hunter, I made millions of dollars in the stock market. I want you to move to California with me and keep me in shape. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that. And moved out there, discovered California, and then just sitting there kind of bored and confused with life, even though I was getting paid money to basically sit around and party with my friend and make sure that he didn't get fat.
Hey, Jeremy, can you mute your mic, buddy?
I basically...
sorry about that, bro.
It's all good.
Yeah, I basically decided that I needed to do something more. Like, there needed to be something more behind this body than just looking at it in the camera. And I started going on active.com, and I found a half marathon. Then I found a Spartan race. Then it just started adding up, and I was like, I'm starting to feel alive again. This felt like it felt like a fit that actually was me for the first time in my life.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I think the first time I saw you, or first time I saw you on TV or anything, I think you were doing, is it Broken Skull?
Yeah.
That was the Stone Cold Steve Austin
Hell
thing,
yeah,
right?
dude.
Yeah.
Crush your body.
Was he cool to work with, or?
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the most famous people. I mean, I've definitely hung out with a fair amount of movie stars and stuff like that living in Malibu, but of anybody I've ever hung out with, he is the most down-to-earth, could sit down and do this with you right now. Like, if he had just met you, he'd sit down, pour himself a glass of something, and have the most heart-to-heart conversation with you, no strings attached, and he wouldn't make you feel like he was a big shot.
Yeah.
Or like you're anything less than him, and that was a blast. And he's a fucking monster, by the way.
Yeah.
He's
a
got to be
beast.
60 now.
I got some Coors Light waiting for him right here.
Dude, he'd crush it to the ground. Dude, you got to get some of his IPAs, Stone Cold IPA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good, dude. Honestly, get some of that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a 3-time undefeated champ at.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, is that show still running, or what happened to it?
They shut it down. I think basically shows like that.
Networks. Fucking networks. man.
Networks, dude. It
Yeah.
sucks, man, because that was
That was
just like
badass. There was a wrestling element to it.
Hell yeah,
Right?
dude.
I mean, there was all kinds of different
It was
stuff.
a dream come true. That was my
Yeah.
favorite show. I've done tons of reality television shows, but if I could ever say anything was my biggest accomplishment in my athletic career, it was winning on that, because It was so dynamic. It was so intense. At first, I didn't want to do the show. They contacted me first season, and I told them no. And I was like, I don't want to do this. It's just a reality television show. I'm going to get on there, and then they're going to like do something. They're like, Hunter has to lose this fight now. And I'm like, why? Like some reality television shows, they set you up to lose, so there's like suspense and excitement.
Scripted.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not that kind of person. I was like, if you meet me in a ring and you beat me, you beat me. But if I beat you, that's how it is, and that's how the world's going to see it. And that's how this show is, man. It's like no holds bar, and it's in the middle of the fucking desert at 100 to 120 degrees, and you're filming for weeks on end, and it's hardcore. Everybody shows up to work. Everybody gets the job done. I mean, the production people are working their asses off, and then we got to put on a show. So there's no wussies showing up. And they're coming from like the middle of nowhere, Iowa or Kentucky, and they're coal miners.
Farm boys.
Farm boys, dude. Yeah. And like they were like a champion wrestler who didn't make it to that like top tier, but they've been sitting in a coal mine thinking about killing anybody they can get their hands on because they missed that last opportunity. And then they meet me, and I'm like a skinny, pretty blonde boy.
David Hasselhoff, maybe a little bit, right?
Yeah, from Malibu. They're like, I'm gonna freaking kill this kid.
Yeah.
And gosh, man.
But you dominated that show. I mean, you were it for the last three seasons, right?
3 seasons, man.
Yeah.
I trained, man. That's one thing I told everybody. I was like, I openly admit it. I said, you can beat me. Watch the show.
And at the same time that's running, you're doing Tough Mudders, you're doing the Spartan stuff, all in between.
Oh, yeah. I was
all that stuff, right?
Also, one season when I came in, I was hosting this television show called Boundless. And it was my first season coming in. I was hosting a television show called Boundless, traveling around the world doing the hardest endurance races in the world. Like, these things are 24 hours or 3 days long. And I'm getting the shit kicked out of me there to the point where I can't keep a boner. I'm shitting my pants regularly. My whole nervous system, my whole innards are just destroyed because of what I had done to it. And basically, I got this opportunity. They're like, we want you to come on the show. And the NBC owned the rights to me at that point. I signed a contract, and I didn't read the paperwork. I'm sorry. And they said, Hunter, I got the offer, and I said, guys, I got to go film this thing. And it wasn't interfering with the schedule at all. And they're like, you're not allowed to do that. Contractually, you're not. And I said, I'm not going to show up to your guys' show if you don't. Like, I'm not going to show up for the next episode if you don't let me do this. They're like, Hunter, this could seriously ruin your career if you do this. And I said,
yeah.
And
you can say fuck you on here.
I said fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys are paying me. I mean, it was a very lucky opportunity to be able to host a television show, but they were paying me pennies. And it was I was filming all year long, basically. And I was like, I need to go make some money, and I want to go have fun. All right? First of all, I want to have fun. Second of all, I'm going to go make some fucking money. And I went there, and I just destroyed them. And NBC left me alone completely. They're like, I guess this is pretty good for us.
Awesome, yeah. Cross promotion, right?
Damn right,
basically.
Dude.
Yeah.
Damn right.
So can we dive into CrossFit Games a little bit?
Yeah.
You talked a lot of smack to some top CrossFit guys to help, I guess, narrow the sport a little bit, right? Or open it up to more people?
Well,
unnarrow the sport, maybe I should say.
I'm just sick and tired of CrossFit saying they're the fittest people on earth. I know so many athletes who are better than them. They're just really good at what they do. It'd just be like me, like you telling me, you're like, I'm the best person in entertainment.
Right.
You might be really good at what you do.
I know. Best person in
exactly.
entertainment.
I'm the best person in entertainment. I'm like, yeah, you're really good at setting up like lights and production and stuff. Like, you're good at that. You're like, no, I'm the best person in entertainment. Yeah. Like, let me tell you, I could show you so many other people who are better than you in entertainment. And you're like, no, I'm the best. And if you want to prove me wrong, they have to come in here and do exactly what I do. And I was like, that's not fair. Like, you should be able to test both the whole spectrum, be able to see who's really the best across all, things. And they're like, no, that's not how we do it. That's basically the way that they were portraying themselves to me. And I was like, and I had beaten so many of them in my contest. They would come over to me, I'd fucking clobber them. And then all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, well, you're not that great, dude. You never made it to the CrossFit Games. And I'm like, well, fuck it then. I'm going to go to the CrossFit Games. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
So I just said, screw it. And I just started training. And I found out that they had this wild card bid. And, of course, if you look at anybody in the world and you say, what defines wild card?
Is there a full-on sanction that decides what the wild card is, or how does that work?
It was undecided. This was a rule that they basically just kind of threw into the rule book this year. And I just said, I don't think anybody read this thing because it says right here they'll invite people from other sports. And I was like, how does nobody want to do this? I was like, I'm going to do it. So I'm the first person in history to ever be invited without actually doing any of the things that it takes to get into the CrossFit Games. Do I think that their system is designed to find the best athlete? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that it's a good system? Yes. Do I think it's going to find the best athlete? No. Do I think that I needed to go in there and tell them otherwise? Yes. And I went, and I had a fucking blast. This was the first year also that they introduced cuts, so I didn't really get to do the whole CrossFit Games experience. I got cut 2 workouts in because I didn't know how to walk on my hands. Not what I consider to be an athletic endeavor, but I guess it's part of what they do.
Right.
If you ever looked at a guy and you're like, wow, he walks on his hands. He's like the most fittest
He's really
dude.
fucking good.
Oh, my God, he's so cool.
Yeah.
No one's ever said that a day in their life. Like, I'd say, like, that's all right. That's cool. But if I met somebody who could, like, pick up a 500-pound log and chuck it over something, I'm like, whoa. Or I saw somebody who could run really fast, I'm like, damn. Or somebody who could lift something heavy, I'm like, whoa. Or, like, punch really hard, I'm like, damn.
Sure.
But you never look at somebody walking on their hands and, like, be like, call somebody, like, wow, dude, you have to see what I just saw.
Yeah, well, every professional sport is tailored to how you train, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, who's better of a fighter, an MMA guy or a boxer? I'm like, Mayweather's incredible, but he might not go into the UFC and beat the best UFC guy because it's a totally different experience, like, displaying fighting skills.
Yeah, 100%. You train for a specific thing.
Yeah.
No.
So, I tackled that. I'm happy that I got it off the list. I experienced it. Like, I think that's what I realized about 3 years ago. I've been competing professionally since I've been 22. So 4 years, I completely charged the experience of just doing what I started in. And then I said to myself, I'm like, you could keep on doing this and you could win world title every single year for the rest of your life, or at least until you retire. But is that going to fulfill you? Like, what's the difference between the guy who's got 5 world titles and 10 world titles? Like, sure, there's a couple more medals on your wall. Sure, there's a couple more dollars in your pocket, but would you be that much more impressed or fulfilled as a person? And I said, no. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go start poking on the chest of these guys who think they're hot shit and other things.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that ever since. I've been kicking their asses.
Yeah. So are you going back this year, or?
No, I mean, basically I was going to try to get through what they call a sanctional. Sanctionals are basically these events that are underneath the CrossFit Games, and if you win one of those things, you get to go to the games.
Okay.
And I was going to try to go on in June in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and now they've just shut down everything.
Really?
So
just because of the pandemic?
Yeah. So, which sucks, but at the same time, you know
Weird,
what?
strange times, man.
Yeah. So I'm basically just going to focus on other things, and that including the Murph and drinking whiskey and Evergreen with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little afraid to ask this next question, but what's an average day like for Hunter? Like right now, like what's your training regimen? How are you doing it with gyms closed? I mean, what the hell's going on?
Typically, right now things have changed a little bit, and I think I've just I don't know why my schedule's changed a little bit, but usually if you'd met me almost the majority of my life, I wake up around 4 or 5 a.m. and then I go bonkers immediately when I get out of bed. And usually I get up and I organize.
No coffee, just go straight
Nothing.
to the gym or
Yeah.
the road.
So
running,
typically
whatever.
I get up and I write down a list of what I got to do for the day, and then I just start charging on them. I'll write a couple emails. I'll start moving around things in the house. By 6:30 or 7, I've pretty much done everything that I need to do for the day, so that when the rest of the people wake up, I don't have any responsibilities, and then I start training super hard. And so when I say super hard, I'm not trying to say some days I might just go for a walk, to be honest, but I typically will start training for about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, and then we have this massive breakfast. It usually is pancakes and steak or steak and eggs, and I eat ribeyes every single day.
Hell yeah.
I eat about 2 or 3 pounds of steak a day on a good day. And then, lunchtime comes around, and that's usually where I try to contact anybody in my phone book to go do something crazy. And our house is kind of like a fraternity house. It's like Animal House. Like right now we have this thing going on. If you insult somebody, you have to shotgun a beer. And it typically you have to shotgun a beer in a fashion that's more challenging than shotgunning a beer. Like now we're at the point where shotgunning beer is upside down, or if you really screw up, you basically poke a hole through here. You put a beer bottle into the regular beer can. You have to shotgun 2 of them. We always just make random challenges, whether it's eating bugs or chugging beers or running through the neighborhood naked. We just found out that life's too short. We're gonna have a blast. So
Yeah.
Also,
That's what it's all about, man. It's having fun and enjoying the time that you're here. Look at so many people walking through life miserable,
oh yeah,
in a mask at the grocery store or whatever it is now.
yeah.
And, dude, it's way too short for that.
And most of my day is never like you would never see it as a typical day with somebody. Like I just went running this morning with a girl that I'm hanging out with, and I saw a big rock, and I was like, I gotta flip this thing. So I flipped it, and then I found a beetle, and then I chucked it at her. And then I found like an ant. I kept on running, and then I found this huge anthill, and I was like, damn, look at all these things. So I started messing with the ants, and then one bit me in the pinky, and it hurts so bad right now. There was a fire ant. And, like that, like I don't do a typical run. I got to have fun. I got to go chase an animal, jump through a stream, pick up a big rock. Like, I'm always trying to make the day a little bit more exciting. So now we're like midday. Right now I'm writing a lot. Otherwise, like writing a lot, or I'm making calls to try to raise money for this charity. I'm always trying to make random business deals at all times a day. Like I do want to be a successful athlete, but at the same time, I want to be able to have like 5 to 6 kids when I grow up, and make sure that I have like a mega mansion that they're all be able to settle into. I have them taken care of, their college paid for, everything like that. Running mud runs professionally and doing the CrossFit Games is not going to make you a multimillionaire. You have to do that on your own. So like that's why I'm always doing business.
Well, I think you're doing a really good job of that too, man.
Yeah.
I think you've been featured by Forbes magazine or
Dang right.
Forbes Sports Money or something
Sports
like that,
money,
right?
yeah. Yeah, because you got to be on the hustle and grind. I come from a family. I'm the only person from my grandparents all the way to me, including aunts, uncles, cousins, who didn't go to college. And in that, except for my grandfather, he actually went straight into the military. But then he ended up owning his own bank. He was a colonel in the military. Next grandfather was bronze medalist in the Masters Olympics, and he went to Harvard, was a doctor, was the president of orthopedic surgery in all of New England. My dad went to Harvard. Brothers are lawyer, neurologist, hedge fund manager. Like, they go like this. And I'm not going to be the dude who's just sitting there like, hey, what'd you do today? And I was like, oh, I went to the gym and I trained 2 clients, and then I rode my unicycle. And they're like, oh, we're proud of you, Hunter. I'm like,
yeah, I'm going to go be an 8-time world champion or however many titles you hold.
Dang right, dude. Yeah. I was like, no, I went and I pulverized a bunch of people in Europe today in a contest, and then I went and rode motorcycles across the Swiss Alps.
And
like
slam beers with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Damn right, dude. So I just said to myself, as I go through these days and, let's finish the schedule, I go back and I train again. Typically in the afternoon, I do my weightlifting now. It's too hot. Run in the morning, weightlift in the afternoon, and in the evening, it's
all
action.
Hair in the evening, right?
Damn right.
Got to do the hair.
Yeah, just tomorrow I gotta look fabulous. And then we typically watch action movies and eat food and just like relax.
Yeah.
I don't do anything that grandiose, like traveling around, do anything that fun until it's time to go. And then I'm always preparing for the next thing. And by the time the next thing comes, I go, I compete. Hopefully we win. And then we crush beers and we celebrate for like a couple days.
Yeah.
And
Do you still party harder?
I do party
Occasionally?
hard.
Yeah.
I definitely had to take about 4 years off of any substances. Like, I would drink beer and stuff like that, but I basically locked myself behind bars, like, when it came to any hard substances. And I'm not trying to condone the behavior, but I'm also not the kind
You
of...
have to at some point. At the level that you're competing at,
Yeah.
I don't think that you can you can live the party lifestyle till 3 a.m. and then
No.
be physically fit, right?
No, but I'm not the kind of person who's going to hide from the flavor of the world. You know what I mean? I'm not going to drink Diet Pepsi my whole life. I'm going
Right.
to drink that full flavor shit.
Yeah.
And I want to have fun. You want to celebrate. You don't have a cupcake after every single meal. You have it when it's your birthday or something like that. So you gotta pick your times. And it took me a long time to figure that out. When I was younger, I was like, well, why don't I get high and snort an Oxycontin in the middle of school? Like, what's the point? Why not?
Yeah.
Like, well, Hunter, like, you're supposed to study and learn things here. I'm like, well, I don't really care about that. So, like, I didn't have a reason.
It's supposed to be like the rest of the sheep.
Yeah, exactly.
Follow the herd, right?
I didn't
Yeah.
have a reason to stop doing that every single day, every hour of the day. Now I understand there's purpose to focus and, working hard and then earning the right to be able to have those things. So anybody who's listening to this, I will not lie to you. I do party. If you have a party, please call me. Yeah.
Dude, you can come to our next one.
Yeah, dude. I'll show you damn a good time.
All right.
So, but at the same time, I'm like, don't be that person who doesn't have anything to talk about at the party. I don't want to see you at the next party and you not have shit to say other than the fact that you've been partying ever since the last one.
Right.
Like, come to me with some fucking meat and potatoes. Tell me something
Some
cool.
real shit. Yeah.
Like, I want to
Tell me
know
a
what
story.
what the
That's
hell
why I
you been
started
up
the
to?
podcast, man.
Yeah.
Is honestly so I could hang out with people like you and just
Yeah.
learn some shit, man.
Exactly. So, yeah, but when that party comes, I'm throwing down. But until that party, I'm going to be, bending bars and working hard and making sure that I got shit going on. And, that's
But you
life.
have fun doing that too. I mean, some of
Amazing
my
fun.
favorite posts of you is when you're wearing like the leather helmet and goggles and shit and deadlifting like 650 or whatever you're doing, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Dude,
awesome.
A little while ago, I dressed up as an astronaut and I power cleaned 275, and I was just like, yeah, and it's just fun, dude.
Oh, what
like,
the hell do you got on here?
so-
That's the bulk pony right there.
that is, dude.
Yeah.
Easter, we had this event where I called it the Easter egg challenge. Where
Dude,
basically,
where did you get those shades, man?
dude, those are awesome.
Yeah.
I got caught up in this world of like really high end fashion and spending a shit ton of money on like really high end expensive clothes and like wearing the Gucci shades like $600, and then you break them and you lose them and you're like, God, I feel so stupid. And then I realized you basically can just go to the Venice Boardwalk and buy shades that look just like them
Oh, yeah.
for
all the
like
knockoffs.
10 for
Fucking
$20.
great, yeah.
So that's how I live life now, and like that's basically how I keep that fashion statement up. But that outfit we were dressed as, that was the Easter egg challenge. We tried to eat 10,000 calories of candy in 15 minutes between three
Holy
people.
shit.
Awful. Everyone was throwing up.
Yeah, I bet.
Well worth it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about a career in comedy? I mean, stand-up comedy or anything like that, or writing, or
A couple of my really good friends are comedians and stuff, and I just never thought about being the guy who's on the stage and writing my jokes. I kind of just live my life, and it kind of is funny.
yeah.
I guess I never think about what I say. I just say it, and maybe I could be good at that. I've really wanted to get in improv, and I've never wanted to be an actor, but I'd like to be a movie star. Like, someone
Sure.
asked me if I would go into porn the other day, and I was like, I wouldn't do porn. I'd be a porn star.
Yeah, what happened to the mustache? I mean, that was the total porn mustache.
I know, it was great. It was
I'm
great.
a little disappointed.
You know what? I'm going to bring it back, but
Yeah.
here's the reality. I started this a month ago, and I'm not trying to be Mr. Cool here, but I'm saying I started this like a month and a half ago, and I started it, and I was like, I'm just going to grow a mustache. And then I saw every other dude on the, like, it's a quarantine stash thing. Like, everybody on the
Oh,
internet's got
yeah.
a mustache
Yeah.
now, and I was like, fuck, I know my mustache is cool, but now everybody has a mustache, and I'm just like, I'm another one of the sheep.
Yeah.
But I already got my mullet, so I just trimmed down the mullet. I trimmed down the mustache. I really actually pulled the mustache off. Like, I was questioning it, and then all of a sudden, I went to kiss the girl, and it curled into my mouth. And I was like licking my
Yeah, you
hair.
got to trim that shit up,
And
man.
I was like, this is gross. I was like, I gotta get out of
When
here.
you got spaghetti sauce and shit in it, it's
Oh,
time
yeah.
it's time to trim it.
yeah. It was nasty, dude. And I'm not a clean person, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just, go about my day being a messy creature. Some days I don't even shower, and I'll work out twice a day. It's just, nature of the beast, baby.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
So what's after your career as a professional athlete? I mean, obviously, at some point, not anytime soon, that's going to come to an end. What's after that? Seth told me to ask you about Hunter's Sweet Sweet Honey. Or
Hunter's
something?
Sweet Sweet Honey. Yeah. I'm constantly coming up with business ideas, and I'm trying to find ways to actually pull them off. There's a couple ideas that I've had down the pipeline. Like, literally, I was just about to execute, and then all of a sudden this hit, and I was like, it maybe not a good idea to invest a ton of money because...
Dude, we have so many listeners, so don't let anybody steal your idea off here. Make sure you have it patented
Yeah.
before you drop it on our podcast.
No. I understand. Like, whoever's listening to this, even if there's 1 million listeners or
We'll
5
sue the
listeners-
shit out of you.
Yeah, I'll fucking find you, dude. You know what? Like, I really am a big believer in doing one thing and doing it super well. One or two things. And right now I'm an athlete, and I'm focusing on that. I'm not a moron. I know that day is coming. I basically decided that's why I was like, Hunter, it's time to write this book right now so that you can understand. Like, I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to make sure
Podcast.
Podcast. Yeah, dude, I really... So we started a podcast right at the beginning of this thing called The Morningwood Show.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be Morningwood Show.
Shout out to the Morningwood
Yeah,
show.
dude, fascinating men having fascinating conversations. And it
Really?
was just, yeah, dude, it was just...
Is it still going on?
No, we stopped because I was like,
Oh,
what's
dude,
it like...
can I be on the next episode?
Dude, I would love
All
to.
right.
We only got one episode in, and I was like, I wanted it to be like this. And I was like,
What
I
a
know,
great name.
Yeah, dude, that'd be fun. And I was like, it's gonna be so hard for me to get people to come to me in this circumstance. Like, I probably, if you called me, I wouldn't have given a shit really. But most people you probably called about a month ago, they'd be like, dude, there's no way I can come up there.
Yeah, I'm too busy.
Exactly.
Honestly, we hit right at the right time for that.
Yeah.
Because I think people are bored out of their minds.
Now
so
they're
listen
probably
to me
bored out of their
fucking babble.
Everybody's listening and stuff. Yeah, and I think I should have probably stuck with it, but I wanted to make sure that I could meet people face to face because the energy you and I have right now is huge.
I refuse to do it, at least for this podcast. I refuse to do it like online or through Skype or anything like that because I feel like you lose so much.
Yeah, dude.
You lose the quality. The listeners aren't as well connected,
No.
and it's just there's something
being
about
able to see
sitting
your
here.
body language
Yeah.
and stuff, and like I can catch like when I'm starting to say something to you, you're about to say something back. Like I feel the energy bouncing back and forth. That microphone and like me even on a Zoom call, like it just doesn't pick up.
It's
the
not
same
there.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, things like that, I do want to get into entertainment, writing, and speaking things so that I'm able to at least give the knowledge that I've had on to the world and people who've been challenged in a similar way that I have. Even
You're
if,
kind of doing that now because you have some training videos like the T-30 and then
Yeah.
the bulk pony
yeah.
stuff, right?
So I've been building it all up really slowly, but I am a big believer in the point right now. Like, I also, my dream job has always been to be like Steve Irwin. If I could get to the level
Really?
of oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Dude. If I could get to the level of success where
Like
I
Stevie
have...
Irwin, the crocodile hunter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to get to the level of success where I'm able to have enough money and be able to speak. And like when I say something, people are at least listening. I can go out to the world, speak, share, help people, and then I'm able to give back. Like I would love to just give back to animals and everything like that, but I know that if I started in that world, the likelihood of me climbing up through the ladder doing that and being able to have influence and help the world and save the environments.
Maybe you should partner with his kid. Isn't his kid doing that now or
Yeah, his
something?
kids are doing it. Yeah. I would love to get involved with them, but they're all the way down in Australia.
Right.
Yeah, so what the heck am I supposed to do? Dude, his daughter's a freaking babe now.
Really?
Yeah, Google real quick. Dude, she's got freaking huge cans.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, she's gorgeous. I don't know what age she is, so don't make me feel terrible
Right.
about this. But she's definitely good looking, and I think she's dating like a famous guy. Is that Steve Irwin's daughter? I've seen some pictures of her, and I was like, wow.
Bindi, that's right.
Yeah, like
Bindi.
that's a good looking girl right there, dude. Even in her little fatigues and stuff.
How
like-
old is she? Before I comment.
Don't make me. I don't want to get in trouble. I thought she was dating somebody famous, but
Yeah.
maybe not. Please don't say she's under 18. Please.
98.
98?
It's all good. You didn't go on a date with her. Or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
I know, but that'd be
Yeah,
fucking
you're
really
totally
weird.
Yeah, you don't want to be
Fine.
creeping though, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, dude, that would be freaking awesome. I'll get involved and somehow backdoor into
Yeah,
Chandler
that's
Powell.
awesome.
Powell is her partner. I don't know who that is.
Who?
Chandler Powell.
Nah, that sounds like a loser.
Yeah, what a dork.
Unless his name's Hunter.
Yeah,
Mackins,
Bendy.
I don't want to
Yeah.
hear about it.
When you hear this, you know who to call, Bendy.
Come on, baby. She's definitely listening to this podcast. All the way down there in Australia. Just kinda scroll
We
through
actually have
it.
some listeners in Australia, so there's
Really?
a chance, dude.
How
There's
do
a chance.
There's metrics that will tell you that stuff?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's great. We have a little world map. I mean, it gets kind of I'm screwing that up. It gets pretty specific by city almost,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it does out of country. So
Oh. That's awesome.
we'll talk after the podcast. I'll let you know who I use.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah. I'd like to learn more.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn more.
Yeah, but you should keep going with the morning wood, man. It's awesome.
I wanna do it.
Maybe you got to pound a White Claw with a Viagra or something
Yeah.
before the episode.
Well, dude, so this is
Like,
all
I gotta go, man. This episode's only 30 minutes. We gotta go.
Yeah, so the thing is, what I wanted to do is every couple episodes, I'm going to bring a guest on, and I'm going to make them do the podcast completely in the nude.
Okay.
Just like straight raw nude. And it's just going to be just like that. Like, you know, there's going to be no barriers between us. I
Yeah.
want full honesty.
Full honesty,
And
yeah.
some people are going to be fucking weird. They're going to walk in and I'm just going to be completely naked, and they'll be like, what's going on here? I'm like, take your clothes off.
Right.
Honestly, I was like, we need to bond.
Yeah.
We need this connection.
Turn up the AC.
Yeah, that's right, dude. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. I mean, it's gonna be. I just like thought to myself, I was like, I really want to be able to just be raw and fun and happy. I've definitely been on some podcasts where I started to talk. Like I was just on a podcast a couple weeks ago, and the people They just weren't ready for the heat that I was throwing down, and that's not who I am. And I want to bring guests on. I want to ask weird questions, have weird conversations, and just have fun.
That's awesome. You should totally do it, man.
I'm going for it.
We'll be big supporters here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Hey, we're also going to be supporting you at the Murph. How can people watch that? Is it live stream? I know that I've been watching. You have like 4 or 5 episodes, right?
Yep.
Like leading up to the Murph.
We've been building it up. We decided to just launch a YouTube channel so that people can understand kind of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we're going to have it live. I can't guarantee the runs are going to be documented, but we'll have it live. And then we're also going to have a documentary that's going to come through Pure Spectrum, and we're going to produce the whole thing so people can really get the behind the scenes and see what it's all about. But on May 23rd, I'm probably going to go. I'll announce the exact time next week, but I'm going to be going at about 7 a.m. I'll probably go 7 a.m., maybe 6:30 a.m. on East Coast time.
And what's the record that you're trying to beat? It's a timed record, correct?
The current record's 38 minutes.
Okay.
38 minutes to get all that work done. I'm trying to go sub 30, which is like unfathomable. It's like the 4-minute mile kind of thing.
I'm a little confused because when I went on their website, just learning about it and doing my homework before you came on, there was something about like there was assisted or there's 2 different records that are on.
Partitioned and unpartitioned.
Okay, that's what it was.
Partitioned means you're able to break it up in any way you want to get done. So if 100, 200, 300 is the amount of work you have to get done.
So they stop the stopwatch in between events?
No.
Oh, okay.
You can break it up, meaning like you could instead of going straight through the pull-ups, push-ups, then squats, you can break it up. You can go 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15 until all the work's done.
Got it. Okay.
And one's a lot easier. Once you're just completely fatiguing one muscle group, dude, your horsepower's up here, and then it's going to die.
So which one are you doing?
I'm doing unpartitioned, straight through the way it was designed by Murph, and my goal is to break that 30-minute mark, which is crazy to think of. I strongly believe that it's a possibility.
But you're doing it on the documentary, right?
Yeah.
Training at altitude, not to mention.
Yeah. That's a big factor. I mean, you can even see, if you watch this most recent episode, like I went to try to set the record up here, which is probably about 10 to 15% harder to do up here than it is down there, and I completely cracked. Like I was doing really well. I broke apart. I couldn't get the squats done, and I had to walk.
How much do you think that helps training at altitude when you actually get into the mode?
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So the idea like behind altitude training is basically like you're breathing in right now. It goes into your lungs, then it spreads out basically into your blood. Blood carries oxygen to all your muscles. Blah blah blah. Because you're here at altitude, your blood volume actually increases because it needs more oxygen to do the same amount of thing because we're higher up, because you have less oxygen up here. So basically, when I go down to sea level, I'm going to have more blood volume. So that basically means like more train cars carrying oxygen to my muscles. And so it's less intensity and more blood carrying the work that I need. So I have more fuel and less weight, basically.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's my science.
So do you go there for a couple days prior to get acclimated or anything like that? Or?
I don't really have to acclimate, but I'm going to go there on Wednesday. I'm going to get in on Wednesday morning with my buddy, and we are basically going to set things up because it is going to be like there's a lot of things to setting this up. I'm going to have a clock here and a mirror so I can see my reps are perfect, so that I can see the clock all the time. There's going to be another clock here that's like the overall run time. This one's going to break down how long did it take me to do pull-ups, how long did it take me to do push-ups. And like I'm going to basically go out and measure out the mile. I'm going to walk it. I'm going to test the pull-up bar. I'm going to make sure everything is perfect so that I feel like $1 million.
I highly recommend watching the lead-up episodes to it,
fun.
that you're making.
Yeah.
They're fun. They're comical.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a good time watching them. Like, I haven't watched the latest one yet, but I'm going to tonight, man.
Yeah, man, it's good.
shit.
It's good.
Yeah.
That one's like,
It's Making the Murph at YouTube, right?
Yeah, Making the Murph. You can just type in my name in YouTube. It will pop up. So, anything you guys want to see, it's pretty easy to get delivered.
Dude,
right
the
there.
intro music is awesome. Do you own that? Is that DJ Hunter or
no,
what?
I wish I was
okay.
DJ Hunter. Dude, so this guy Nick, who I've known for years,
It gets me amped up, man. I want to go straight party boy when that happens.
Let's let the ways.
Yeah.
So he's this videographer
Jeremy, cue
guy.
that up if you can, man.
Yeah,
please.
Pump us up,
Try to
dude.
get that to load.
And
That's how we'll close the show.
I met the guy, and all of a sudden I found out he lived here, and I was like, do you want to just partner on this stuff? And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at videography and stuff. And then all of a sudden, he's like the most talented guy I've worked with. And I've been doing this for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
And he's sitting right in my back door, and he's just been making these videos. He cranks them out in less than 24 hours. Like,
Damn.
super talented, awesome guy.
When you're done with him, send him my way.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Okay.
if you need somebody in Denver area, like, hands down, I've traveled the world and worked with videographers. This guy, easiest guy to work with.
You want to give him a
Chill.
shout out real
Dude,
quick?
Nick Sully, dude.
Okay.
Go, you can either get him at Nick Sully Photography or just Nick Sully on Instagram. And the guy is a masterpiece. Like,
Yeah.
he could do anything. He literally figures it out on the fly.
And he produced the music as well?
He
Or
just found the
something?
music and stuff
Okay.
like that, and some of the rappers and stuff are his friends and everything. And
Okay.
dude, he literally pops everything up on the
It's
screen.
that intro song. Like, I'm not a techno guy by
Yeah.
any means or like a raver, but yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah. Might need to skip through for a couple seconds, then you get it after he kicks. My roommate kicks me in the beans. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've been to a lot of raves, and this is
Yeah.
the kind of shit that gets me crazy. I used to be a big time rave guy. Do they have stuff like that here in Denver?
You know, they do. I know that there's one at New Year's Eve or something at the convention center.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I know of. I've been involved with a bunch of the EDC stuff and all that on the production side. And to be honest with you, I can't stand it working it.
Yeah. It's a lot
Like
of
whenever
loud
the
music.
event comes on, is happening, I'm gone, dude. I'm at the hotel room and like call me
Yeah.
when that shit's over. But
Yeah, it's a lot.
but,
If
yeah.
you're not in party mode,
if
then
you-
it's not.
yeah,
worth
if
it.
you're not in party mode, it's not the spot to be. But anyways, that's great music, man.
Have you ever heard of the California Honey Drops?
Are they a techno like group or DJ or anything?
No,
like
no, no.
that?
California Honey
I don't
Drops is
think
like
so.
this Louisiana funk type
I'm
music.
thinking of Hunter's Sweet Sweet Honey right now.
Yeah. I'll get you some of that, dude.
You're a bee farmer, right? Or
No,
something
I'm
like
trying
that?
to get into
Yeah.
it. I did it
Okay.
early. I did some internship shit early in the fall, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. But now I'm trying to get my own hive. There's supposed to be people delivering it this week. I've been
Okay.
waiting for my hives for fucking 2 weeks now.
I didn't want to interrupt, but go ahead.
No,
Go
no,
back
no,
to
no.
California's.
California Honey Drops,
yeah.
dude. Just looked them up. I went to
Okay.
one of their shows here, man, and I'm telling you, if you want a damn good time, I went there
Yeah.
and I ate a ton of mushrooms last time, and I eat mushrooms all the time. But let's
Yeah.
just be honest, California Honey Drops on mushrooms is the titties.
Okay.
So that's like, I don't like live music, to be honest. It may seem weird. I just don't. I don't feel like myself around hundreds of people just moving their hands like this side to side. Like if I'm
Yeah.
at a party, I want to freaking party. I don't want to stand next to you and listen to music.
Right.
Yeah, I know that's your industry. I didn't mean to insult you by any
No,
means.
it's all good.
Yeah.
It's fucked right now.
Yeah. Well, when it opens back up again,
Yeah.
maybe we can go together.
Yeah.
What industry?
Music industry.
No, I never.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What industry?
Yeah. That might be really bad news. Sorry.
Well, awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming up and spending some time with us. I know you got to get back to training right now.
Cruising, dude.
Yeah. Can you tell people where they can find you? I know you got a website.
Yeah.
Instagram. You're all over that.
Yeah, if you type in Hunter McIntyre, my website's huntermcIntyre.com. If you type in Hunter McIntyre on Instagram, Facebook, anything, I try to make sure that like whatever I'm doing, I videotape it, and it might not be high quality, but it's at least the honest truth of what I'm doing that day. We're either shotgunning beers, playing with bugs, crushing weights, crushing races, and today we're probably going to go buy a Bronco and we're going to soup it up. So if you want to have a good time, man, we got a good channel and we're doing some good things, and obviously this is a awesome way to kind of demonstrate and teach everybody what we're doing. Thank you so much for having me on, man. It was
Yeah,
an
man. Thanks
experience.
for coming.
Good whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have some more before you leave.
No, I got to
Right.
try. But thanks so much, dude. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
meeting you.
No, it was awesome. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in, and stay safe out there.